Nothing like people coming over to light a fire under your you-know-what. Welcome back to Upgrading My Life as an Ex-Alcoholic. We're turning my spare bedroom, into a guest bedroom before the final renovation into turning it into an office. My significant other's parents are coming. They told us very last minute, and I have a ton of stuff I need to do. So I decided to paint the trim after I caulked it all and opened up the wrong paint color. I have no idea why this was gray because it was absolutely supposed to be white, but whatever. I started painting everything white and got very distracted to the point I painted every single bit of trim in our house a fresh coat of white, which honestly makes it look so much better, and I'm glad that I did it. But when I say I got distracted, I mean I got distracted because I end up doing the double French doors that lead to our outdoor patio instead of focusing on the guest room. I end up getting to the guest room, don't worry, but when I tell you the French doors look so much better, I'm glad I just got this out and got started. I know that you guys said not to paint, but I read and it said it takes 24 to 48 hours for the smell to dissipate from just like regular normal paints, and that's what I'll be using is regular normal paint. I even did a fresh coat on the bathroom trim, which desperately needed it. There was so many parts of exposed wood in this house. Also, before they put the doors and the trim on in this home, they clearly did not paint it fully or thoroughly because there were so many spots that were like gray or just had primer on them, which is really unfortunate. This toilet paper holder has bothered me since we moved in. Only one part was in the stud, and the one that wasn't was like genuinely giving us a hard time every single time we used it. So I went ahead and spackled and filled these after cleaning them up. They don't really look the best, but I know that I won't have to deal with loose paper, a toilet paper holder anymore, which is so worth it to me. This is me showing you the frame of the outside door. There are so many nail holes and just inconsistencies with the paint job, which is frustrating, and I want to make it look as good as I can. So I decided to actually go through and fill all the holes after my first layer of paint, which I should have done before my first layer of paint. And then this top part just didn't match up, just like all the rest of the trim in the house. So I actually just nailed it in a little bit better, which it desperately needed, and it also definitely helped. Then I filled in those crevices so that they lined up a little bit better. Don't worry, I let my dogs back in. I just didn't notice them in this clip, so sorry about that. The most common questions I get on this series of Upgrading My Life as an Ex-Alcoholic. No, it's not even a common question at all. It is a common comment, and they say, "You're not an ex-alcoholic." First of all, it's 2024. Why are you telling me how I identify? Secondly, I don't subscribe to the policies and mindsets that they give out in AA. I know it's the reason that some people are sober, so I am grateful that it exists, but I'm not someone who participates in AA or the mindsets that they share personally. It just doesn't fit my lifestyle. And who are you to say that I'm not an ex-alcoholic? I can say that I was once an alcoholic and I no longer abuse alcohol. So why would I still be an alcoholic if I'm no longer consuming alcohol? I choose to not consume alcohol, not because when I go back, I will abuse it, but because I will never go back because of how great my life has been since I quit. And this series is nothing but to show what can be done in your life when you get sober. That's the important part to me. That's what I share. And so therefore, I am an ex-alcoholic. And I don't care if you don't agree. I had someone literally I had to block, and then they got a hold of me on Instagram and sent me a really long, nasty message. And that's the problem with recovery and sobriety, is like people will go out of their way to attack you and tell you that you are less than, and it's not the truth. I am better off now than I was sober than I ever was before getting my alcoholism addiction. Genuinely. I don't share all my successes on here because it's kind of taboo and I'm not trying to brag, but like it's so weird to me that people think it is okay to tell me that I can't call myself an ex-alcoholic. It's not the truth. It's not the way that I live my life. And if it's the way that you live yours and the way that you have to be sober, then I am happy for you. Because the main goal, the end goal for all of our lives here is to be sober, nothing less and nothing more. Those of you that have commented and said that they look forward to this series and they watch this series because it keeps them distracted and it gives them ideas and it shows them what can be done and it gives them hope. Thank you for watching, and that's who I'm making this series for. So if you're someone I'm not making this series for, why are you watching? Why are you giving me a view? Why are you contributing to my finances? It's just strange and weird. And please don't harass me after I block you because you are being rude and then you find me on Instagram and send me a long ridiculous message. That's a waste of your time. I went into the spare bedroom because whoever cut the drywall out for this cut too much and then decided to foam it. So I ended up caulking over it because the foam was orange and ugly and vacuumed that all up. Then I decided to paint these closet doors, and I actually think that I might wallpaper them just because they need it. They definitely need a second layer of paint, but I only got like 2 to 3 layers of paint done on the entire house, and the closet door was one of the last things I did. So a second coat, I just could not be bothered with, y'all. I also didn't even bother to change out of my pajamas because I honestly thought at some point today I would have time to change out of my pajamas, but I ended up doing so much work this day that I just never changed out of my pajamas, not until like late afternoon. So I tried to start fixing the ceiling fan that was coming off of the bracket. So what had happened is a screw came loose, but we couldn't see that because it was so close to the ceiling. So we needed to take the wiring down, and we're not comfortable with electric or wiring or any of those things, but my sister's boyfriend is a carpenter and is very familiar with doing electric work, so he came over to try to help, and it didn't end very well. Let's just say that the ceiling is now mounted and secure with the ceiling. The fan is now mounted and secure with the ceiling, but the light and the fan no longer work. So unfortunately, my landlord will be over 2 weeks after our guests come, so I'm gonna need to get a lamp for this room. And I just feel bad because now amenities that they could have had in this room, they will no longer have. But I did get to really deep clean this fan before it got put back up, since it was on the ground for some time. That took up quite a bit of our afternoon. They came over and brought my nephew, so they were here for a few hours. And yeah, we made some progress, but not all of the progress that I would have wanted to make. I stood in front of this window debating putting up curtains for a really long time, and then remembered, Daisy, you want to paint. Why would you put up curtains? And I was like, well, I'll just drill holes. And then I realized there already was holes. There's holes with like those little plastic brackets you like hammer into the wall. You know what I'm talking about? Can you reuse those? Or should I have filled these? I need to know, so please comment and let me know if you made it this far into the video, and if you did, thanks for watching. I could have made this into 2 parts because the 2-minute videos do so much better, but honestly, this is everything that I got done on Monday, and so I thought it just fair to show you. I took this wallpaper down because I couldn't find any more at the store, and then because it was late at night by the time I got home with my paint, I had to have this big industrial light that I usually use for my makeup filming setup in this room because, again, there's no light. Then I went to the store and got this paint, and it was way more gray than gray blue than I wanted, so I refused to put it on the walls and got really sad about the fact that I didn't return it. But I felt bad because the girl giving me the paint was really dealing with some crappy customers before me, so I didn't want to bother her. I then proceeded to tape off all 3 walls, not the 4th wall because I ordered wallpaper. We are wallpapering that 4th wall, but I taped everything else off so that this would be nice and ready for paint for me this morning, and I am so excited for more transformation videos.